dine di sikdi dukba jesu tawa la neshin ta yidong wala jesu tawa neshin wangbo madam segi chömerik lelon denshin zunju memba de domin shin la lungshin dugi zi duge di ta dire da wang bena yidong wa yu dene be de ya ta we thong yin be kan la rangi wangbo megi wangbo ki dene bena yu yi do wala dene sem sho wala so ba de da nyembo na we ene de la sem sho wa da na shin ki dene chi shin bu la sem sho wa de na shin ki dobje dene 롱알 wala dene chakba rekjen jamba la chakba wadi da wangbo de chö ma chebse madam ba na segi chö ma ri ba ene lelo da nyomle da de zunju memba cheje a de ngal mezi tong me se na dene penna rangi dene mezendi singdong top mengen gi singdong ji de lungkem na lamsang gen주고 봐. 어디나 시작이래스. 내 왕보 담서 최초버려서 되베 연대디엘. 다 대나신기 파종을 시상다데 송된수 차지겨 봐. 개디 제수 미둑 제수 따와라 내시 통배나 왕보 렉담. 세기 최지 봐. 되네. 달라 최체네. 대반다신 딜렌 독데 렐로님레기 님보라 대바던 대신 순주 som바나 아니 뒤기 미수 룽기 배나 타르 첨부지로 룽gem나 타르도 구투 말아 디나시 템부 차거든스 계속 왕부 마담바 최매싱에도 소이나 아니 신 또메게 신달로 망보什么 신감中 룽기 gem나 때는 자와다 제와 gen저와도 차거든스 세상랑기 되네 룽아 예수님데 되네
Verse number 7. One who roams about finding everything good and pleasant, one who does not control his senses, one who does not know the right proportion of food, one who is lazy and indolent is tortured by Mara, just as a weak tree is by a current of air. This shloka or the verse is trying to teach us how to restrain our five senses from the five attractive objects. If we able to restrain our senses from the different objects, those are attractive, then only by then we can feel or we can experience peace and happiness and joy and so forth. For example, there are five senses, the senses of eye, ear, tongue, and body and so forth. In relation to these five senses, there are five objects, the form, sound, and smell, taste, and touch, and so forth. If we find an attractive object, if we see that particular object and we get attached with that object because of our mind is in the state of uncontrollable. Similar with the sound, similar with the smell, similar with the taste and touch and so forth. Here, what this stanza is trying to give us the understanding is that there are the different objects according to the different senses of us. If we fail to restrain our senses, attaching to these 5 particular objects, then we are like, we will be like a tree, a hollow tree that can be collapsed anytime by in any condition. For example, if the tree is hollow, is not, it doesn't have any kind of strength standing tall, then it can be destroyed by any conditions, any kind of winds that can be blown. So similarly, it is the analogy that of our life without having kind of restraint from these particular objects, and if we able to keep our senses in control without wandering to these particular objects, the 5 objects, then we will be like the hollow tree. It can be destroyed by any time. So therefore, the practice of restraint from these things are here suggested. If we succeed in practicing these restraint practices, then we will not be affected by any types of external factors, the negative factors. Even we cannot be disturbed by the evil spirits and the unfavorable conditions that for our practices. So this is what the stanza is giving us, this particular understanding. And then since these all stanzas have pair, and this opposite of pair says that just as a storm cannot prevail against a rocky mountain, so Mara can never overpower the man who lives meditating on the impurities, who is controlled in this sense, moderate in eating and filled with faith and earnest effort. So these words is giving us the understanding, if we are stable in our practice, if we are well established in our practices, our life would be like a rocky mountain which cannot be shaken by any types of factors, by winds and so forth. So therefore, if we able to restrain from the 5 senses, we will be like a rocky mountain and cannot be disturbed by any types of external negative forces. Therefore, what we are being suggested here is to be like a rocky mountain in practicing the restraint of restraints from the attachments to the 5 particular objects.
이 당고식이 누바 제수다와라 내신 왕복 마탐 세기 최메릭스 다디 가세기 최메릭 바 최초고래서 디고라 인도 다 최den기고 데스 제시 쉬나 지단 팀상 알아서 잡을링 날다 팅두기 다 총라 투구시부지 니르니르 담만다 미상마 되는 총ገብ체 담만다지 되윤거래 가세 망고배 투근제 댕교 미망고 세 뒤쳐봐 나자 망고 연예 망고 요구도와 야가도와 사실은 아주 서고도와 현장에도 가르래 ane kashi nalo oma zuma soya sinyara tsaya zuma soya sinyara men gyamne kab gyamne damanda dinde mangu tungudwa police simbere sinyara bo odi indu tene ngaraz jigden kambele yo yorwa da 삼제 라도 말로 통제 칼을 마사스 그래서 미그 통제 강가 칼을 사야 요 말에 랑기 데바디 슉샤타 그봐 데네 피기 날로직 타다스시 얌산사 강가로 디남 드응암기 데네 미그 통제 데바직 강가로 디사 에네 나무로보다 직 데스 만다요 망구제 임베간라 소를 누구요 하마고 어딘데기 데네 직다 히말라야 리규 나로라 베 나자 나주 테킨 나자 캔서스니 나자도와 어딘데 로르 망아 망부지 요구도와 대산 세리기 날레스 요르 지직데 소야샤바도주 지직데 소야샤바도주 캔서 나기도 숨어서다 망부 튕구요 대산 트레딩기 토나체 아니 데레 체윤디 신에 튕구요르와 디인도 되네 아주 단다 랑신 마주베기 되네 칼라 아주 단다 디나라 베나 데링아 디나라 비고도와 되네 정규르다 고그르 고 오게네스야디 쩨마 마이바 랑신기 세디나 디나 제다 되네 딘데 담마르 요마르바 나스 소고노야 요마르 소고 트레데 디소를 믹제 디 내가 비고다 디치기요레 어디인데 되네 디산지 처음에 뒤에 간가로 되네 사야 간가로 쳐봐야 돼 개심부지 아니 세계 좀 미릭베이나 되네 신기하다 보시 나사던 담만다 연구도와 어디인데 되네 디 간주마 좀 미기토서 사기요 말해스 아니 디시고
in the text, it is suggesting us to control our habit of food. In this regard, I would like to elaborate a few more important words associated with this stanza. Here. Now we can see that there are many production of foods in the market this today and these days, and because of those all are commercial oriented production. The main purpose of production of these different types of foods are to make money. Most of them are artificial. For example, you can see that in television, it often comes to know that there are artificial milk in the market, vegetables and other eatables products. It has been coming for many years in India because of the people's greed of making money. We can see that so many artificial production in the markets. Therefore, regarding the controlling of food, we need to be careful of not confusing knowing the right and wrong, the right food and the wrong food. And there is a popular saying that in Tibetan that whatever we think we should not be done, or it shouldn't be taken by our hands, and whatever we see shouldn't be put in our mouth, which essentially means that we should not do whatever we think, and we should not eat whatever we see in the markets. So therefore, there are so many cases of cancer these days, especially in the Himalayan region, without knowing the right and wrong in terms of the foods. People eat whatever they find, especially the things that they find delicious. So therefore, it is a high time to have the wisdom that has the ability to distinguish what is the right food and what is the wrong food. So therefore, we just launched the website. This second session, that website was all about practicing organic farming and so forth. The name of the website is Go Green, Go Organic, which I have initiatives in Ladakh, and this movement or this awareness is all about to practice go organic farming in Ladakh and other Himalayan regions. So if we able to carry on this holistic approach or the positive or constructive practice of farming organic, and it would be very helpful for many people. So if we lack of understanding of the benefit of organic farming, then we will continue to suffer by such illnesses. So therefore, we have to be careful with what we are eating and what we are drinking. So this subject is related to the stanza which is said that controlling our senses and controlling our food is a practice of dharma.
Kesan di tzazik nala wangbu lekdam segi tsu rikbas, da tsu sakures, tsu chakures. Anchi dan ngaranzo da sangye chumden de kamne chichi dan genlong samalo gongje nangki yorwa. Tene zo di zo chuden gongwa. Genlong so mangshe lega chigi yormare, lega chemedu topje 저거 다다직세나 ene sogol gugyo mena din jutubya yo marwa jumatubtu nazanda mandachi yunguyora odi indu namgyu sangege sunyorla mengnale toa ludinala chajikdi seguguyores chajikdi 동화국어를 다 춘다고 아니 차직디 동바국어를 니네시마도 되는 백 이게 참만이 없나 소부트네 책이요 말 디인디 디케천부지 디딩산 세르 팀바지라 세르 날에 니와데 추몽구 통구로 시행도와 러나 지금 간다 턴다 도도로 딩아라서 류부 나로로 트베 나로 차직디 추그리기 여바 사동 통야그리 차직디 세그리 세 착보 ene chajik de tongbal sha ne tes kuyo gyaso yob chuna ane pazu gugyu cheya ina sogo samalo tredens je sadan dirwa odi rangi lubu de sege chörik ba se chöd dinje chegu yo da dine de shibzi shebe na aranzo 사바르드 긴두소이나 아니 남주 현동 나라 카세 맨다와 데시는 되자시 남메와 댄슬스 남주 딱바르 지셔라 콘라 최변나 용고르와 되변나 칼라 디심바다 심바드세 아니 마심바드 마세나 되자시 남메와 댄슬스 게사다 먹으지 가시 깨지 지금도 그냥 신라 가는 게 뭐요 통계슈 가르인 봐. 나 개개 가바치네 롱바 대 사지 저기 요스. 디스는 롱바 가라 있는 딘 담만다 요 소고를 팬바 요스래. 나 믹스에 개 매스기. 개시 미치기 랑게 칼라 심바지. 랑게 되바 예바 칼라 심바디 티나 직 세비에나. 딘 되자 원도 쇼르와. 레마레. 랑게 되베 왕게 심바 랑게 착신도 봐. 착바텔라 ane kala shimbatela chak disa sogol phenya ji yebe ne ane shimbu meba de masa chebren tin deja want to short debe want to short bare zimbe want to short bare nyomong be want to short di 원에 저는 nyomong panya yena 라는 신부 매버도 청아 싸고다 신부 예버도 빵 카세이 디빵 마토도 탈바 킨데스 두고 샹다다 봐 니린이 카세이 내가 샤디 샤마톰나 아니 직 첨부지 탈바 야 첨부도 사토부 남부 깨져 셔야도 똥바 차르면 돼 삼로 야고 다는 힙스당 거로 삼로
in the verse number 8, it is being stressed on the practice of foods, eating moderate food. Regarding this, I would like to specify a few more things on this subject. During the time of Buddha, the Sangha community were not offered dinner because it is because of their health. Eating no dinner was the health reason actually, because the monks did not have physical exercises, physical activities. As for this reason, Buddha did not allow them to eat dinner. So this was a rule of one of the rule of Vinaya practice. So therefore, that food should be eaten as a medicine to survive our life, survive our body, and to have a good healthy body. In a offering prayer, food offering prayer, it says that whatever you eat, you should eat with the thought of medicine. You should not have attached to the food. We should not have aversion if you find food that is not delicious. What we have to think of the food is that it should be visualized as a medicine that helps your body to live healthy. And this prayer, which stress the attitude towards the food, is specially recommended for the Sangha members, not to have this kind of attitude towards the food when you get when you get offered foods by the people. If you find a good food or delicious food, you should not have attachment. And if you find, or if somebody offer you a not delicious food, you shouldn't have aversion towards the food. This is what the food offering words states. So therefore, this is very important to be understood in terms of having the holistic attitude towards the food. So it is also proved that if you have a balance in your dieting, that it's very helpful to your body to have a healthy life. And it is said that in your stomach, it should be divided into three spaces, three divisions. One should be for food, one should be for water, and one should be kept for space, just empty space. So therefore, the balance is there. It's recommended for the purpose of digestion. If there is an imbalance of food and water and space, then the digestion would not happen because of these imbalances. So therefore, the balance of dieting is very much important. It is also recommended by the scientists to have a moderate eating in terms of your practice of eating of food. And these all are mentioned or stressed because of the purpose of having good health. If we fail to understand the practice of food, the moderate food, and the illness is there, and we could suffer from many illnesses because of the imbalance of diet. If we try to go more deeper in terms of the understanding of the practice of food, as I said, that this shloka, the verse offering food offering prayer, is specially recommended to the Sangha members, which says that you should not have any attachment towards the delicious food, and also no aversion towards the food that is not delicious. So in this regard, the practice, what would need to be done is that you should happily accept whatever food you get offered. If you get addicted in eating only the delicious food you find, then it cannot be considered a practice. Also, it wouldn't be a good food to your body to give healthy, because if you only eat or only consume the food that you like, it wouldn't be healthy for your body. So therefore, the food that people offer to you should be accepted, whether it's delicious or not delicious. So this should be a practice. You cannot have a kind of attitude that is to be accepted only the delicious foods and not the not delicious food. So therefore, it has to be these kind of things has to be taken seriously. And because of, for example, if you are addicted in eating only delicious foods, and sometimes you may not get offered the food you like or you addicted, and that time the aversion could be aroused in your mind, and that is against going against the practice of Buddha Dharma. Therefore, the addiction again caused by afflictive emotions and ignorance. So if the ignorance is there, then you would only go for a good food and wouldn't accept the food that is not delicious. So therefore, the practice of abandoning all the negative emotion is the basic practice of Buddha Dharma. Therefore, in regarding this practice of diet, it should be care of with our attitudes of accepting foods. So therefore, regarding the food, these special words is recommended for the Sangha members. The essential point is that you should accept any kind of foods in disregard of the taste, and therefore, for example, sometimes if you go outside of your country or any outside of your community, some people have the problem of food, because you do not get the right food that you usually eat, and that time you would get a lot of problems digesting the food and so forth. So if the practice is there to eat any kind of foods that people would offer you, then you wouldn't face these kind of challenges when you travel to the other places. So therefore, practice of accepting any kind of food is recommended for the monks.
제가 상계기 디날 되네 세기 최릭바 다 인도 지단디 다색디 지단 긴두지고 말에 되네 미갸 딱 한달 최신의 낭바 인자 상말 통다 송구요라 상말 송구 낭바 이미 수이나야 지단기 미상마 대단 요야가 치두 되네 사야를 최초거래 스마도 되네 유이동 와다 되네 심신강아 마소송도요 말에 사야들 최초거래 ane rabjung bazo yena ane tadenge shibdai shaya de tene doja shida me ba tense sebe kabla kesi ngana zu shimshim nganga ran longsu cheben doja shida ngala temba chandu yore di indu ane de tiwa to ma shob shores di shega di indu da di nala ngana zu daga nyere Jangchubling ki ane gelop ta de dinge changma lo jidab de la trading ki chedu ane bana durik tushi la soba dozo yena ane pakpa yue ba ju yue nye aja tangores dinge dangi de she de yore yene khozo tushi kaba ma do sag me do de she do then miglen zebo da kala choa yakba che sogo de kyön chana then be la migyu da ger ba sogo de keshan bur ba sogo de ju yönye go re dob yönye go re lobjong ma go shiwal gu gu yore de la adasa gu gu yore en singdo de zu yene da zelu mangu mena da pakpa nyebo sa gu yore 별 참으로 날로 박박시비는 분다고도 와도 상관세나 니나 비타민 C 요래 아니 니마 망즈 트레베나 니마라 비타민 D 요래 루골 핑기 요래 딘데기 망고지 랑싱 칼라 날라 딘데 요래다 대산 쨘마 망고 세다 아니 미글 제보 칼라 토아 약보로 딘데 장 체백간로 소골 견착 요래 디인디 Jangchubling 디 날로 키란조 남주 되네 주시도서 참말로 아자녀야 주예봐 아니 데라버데 중난 데 까부가리냐 마인 바데스지 세베릭다 어디데 중난 아니 소골라 지금 나선다만 마유야 주침부여러 어디 구디리 녀바데 참말로 뒤균도 되네 섭섭나 제딘데 라란 딸고 나로 나슈야이
regarding the practice of diet. It is not only recommended for the monks, but also recommended for the general people too, the lay people too, to have a balance in dieting, because without having cared of what you are eating and so forth, it may cause a number of illnesses. So therefore, it is also recommended for the lay people too, to have a good health. Especially what I'm trying to say is for the monks is that for monks you should not have attachment or aversion towards the food. It is regard of taste. So whatever taste you taste from the food, you should accept. You should accept. So this is what I have to make clarification here. Here in Jangchubling monastery, last year I asked the officials of the kitchen officials not to use the fine flours, making chapatis and making in breads and so forth, because this is not healthy for the children. But it seems that they did not follow the advice what I given for them. I come to know that the children do not like the breads that is made of the not fine flour. Because that flour is not so, in terms of the side, it's not as attractive. So people, it doesnn't look like delicious. That's why they do not eat the bread that is made of not fine flour. So that is they like the breads which is made by fine flour. So this is not good for their health, since they are here for their education, and they are here for the purpose of education. So they need a good health for the to have a good education. So if they have no good health, then they cannot study well. So therefore, to have a good health, you need to have a healthy diet. This is what I have to say. And when you talk about the eating of fruits, it should also be eaten. Some fruits are there which can be consumed with their peels, but the children do not like the eating with the peels, because they do not find it delicious and good if the peel is not taken out. So what I suggest here is that if the fruits, those are to be eaten with peels, should be eaten with peels, because in the peels there are lots of protein which is good for your health. For example, the sun has vitamin G, which is good for your body. Similarly, the peels of the fruits has their own vitamins in terms of their own in terms of any kind of fruits one can consume. So therefore, what I'm here suggesting is that the peel has not to be peel out if it is not necessary. So therefore, these important things need to be understood, especially for the kitchen staffs here and the officials. So we should not always look for the taste. This is what I have to say. For example, there are also a few varieties of rices, and we should not look only for the rice that is looking good from their appearances. What we have to be careful is that there are rices that is not healthy for for us. We need to avoid purchasing them. Instead, we look for the rice that is healthy for our body. So this is what I have to say specifically.
dine azu de sedan namju khala thona chegoya ji di bengen di da temam matasi to temangombo dishla de dardron sagyu samar nyama anda chepyu pujiba sawan doji ko dine kemenal docha mg siju dardron di rigyu samalo doshores di chudinalo doshoyores dosho yudu kinaz bengen di da drama de silasana de dochagres chi kemenal di shida masus collapsons di indu dene di tanda bengen da mada drama di news nangu isare ane masus sigiyoma da di tserren boshorwa dina sumuna shi tsörrigbas dene news se samza sanan digira tsörrigba chene sagoya chiri di membe tanda di sabla drama di ane daldi be yago yore dina shingi drama chenbushduwa tanda drama mawa chenbushduwa inji genala keme drama siyor kingni bin sigduwa di 다 라다 데발레 뱃답체 망고 끼기요라 야고 달로네 망고 답이야래 어디 야고요 소걸 빼마세베 디리 데네데네 가라서 발락싱이 생원보시요 봐 어디 데네 묘브제 갭디 디 발락이 짜데 때서 마보요 요바디 요고래 나무 망청 마보디 제시 짜데 녀보제 마보디 육 로마지부 미시민도가 어디 저 차기야 저도 마보디 제 데네 자 마보 예버도 녀버지 양얘기 녀바주 녀버지 교주 자 마보 예버디 디쳐거래 데네 마제주 디자 세월도 얘기 데네 아라다보 자드 파제 데네 마보디 예버체제 아니 디 가시에 투두하고 여러 자디 나로 자마보 있어 나 제마라분데 주도 내가 돼서 망어요디 그래서 맞제지 육샤도 디 마보디 인지미지 녀모사고 자마보디 인지미지 디 타기야 조 마보들이 로마케요 말다고 주시다 어디 마젠다 되는 녀버스 하코버체 기나스 녀버스 강예서 하코버체 어디 시나 류 송차기야 돌아 펜도 먹고요. 어디 돈나 나셔야.
Much eggplants we should not overconsumed. We should not overconsume of eggplants and beans. Here in this area of region because okay, there's a story that there's one of the ex-student of Drikung Kagyu Institute here whose name is Wang Dorje suffered from a kidney stone a few years ago. When we visited the doctor, he was diagnosed with kidney stone. And then the doctor suggested not to have too much of eggplants and beans because it is believed that in the water that we consume here has a lot of limestone. Okay. There's in the water there's a plenty of limestone which is not good for your health, so that caused kidney stone. So therefore I suggest you not to consume much eggplants and beans. You should avoid eating much eggplants and beans. This is very important to know.
Limestone, what?
No, limestone.
This area, all mountains lime. Then the water also they have come in the limestones there.
Yes. limestone there's, in the water. So therefore, we should be careful of choosing the right vegetables. And also, for good health, dal is good. Kidney beans are good for our health. We should often consume. We should choose our diet. Kidney stones. That's very healthy for us. And also, when we talk about the spinach, the qualities of spinach vegetable. When we go to the market, vegetable market, we should try to find the spinach with it is root with red color or reddish color. That spinach is good for our health. It develops our blood in our blood cells, which is good for our health. And many people, I have seen that when you make the vegetable, you cut the root and throw them out, which is not a good idea, because the protein that we need for our body exists in the roots of the spinach, the reddish spinach. Therefore, it is important to know which vegetable and what protein they have and how they are making. This need to be understood. So this is what I have to say for the officials here.
Madam na ta se ma simba da oda di sung yun du ene zo de be yuan den di la de che sem bu che wo re so re sha di na la ta ji na mi chang ma sim je chang ma gi gyu la nyu mong ba gi rang xin ji chang ma lu yue de re de de ne te la ya te ne chun si ji ma che na en lu sim ni la de wa yun gyu chab la dung ye yung re sang ge chu kha re ne chen de ji ni gi dung ye la ta dap ding gi yo re di yin du de be yuan den de la ane chue ren bu che che en nam gyu de ne xi ding na su mo la de be yuan den len ze chu dan da Chisam Jagan Tazam Pingyu Wasum. When I debe Yundan del Suma Sheviche, then the Chunal Sadaba Sajutumba was it is, Kagum, the Kizetuna Yatadun Kagum Yamadoji Kozonga Yamadas. Then I think Mijig and Debe Yundan Sum Mebajik Tele getting is that, but Dungam Chambuji want to show me Mijigina. But in the young Yazutum Yamon, Jews, Megas in Yadabo. Kasha Zambuddin Songpa Champa Kasha or Nadi Tadunyan, the Zambuddingi Guchishu Dawina, Tadunga Dilla Mangaja Sasambagi Mangam di Yungu Yorba, Koya Pene. Tadun Lo Yavaji Yomar, Natadun di Chatuna, Adile Zigba, Dile Gera Shed, Dile any Kole Sheba, the Che Yomar. Di Indu, Dindeng Ali Indu, and then there was Yomar not doing a madoji, Tiwan to show Yena, and Sandijin D in a certain butcher, and then Dujun Shoshi Devu, or San Gezo.
The practice is all about to control our senses towards the attractive objects. This is the practice of the teaching that we are here listening or teaching. Because of this, the lack of understanding how to restrain our senses towards the objects, the beautiful objects, we experience displeasures and unpleasant experience and so forth. This is the reason of the unpleasant experiences. Regarding the controlling of diet or food is also related to this subject. Because of too much of attachment to the food, we eat more than we should have been eaten. So it causes a number of illnesses, and this is not the practice of Dharma when we talk about the practice of Buddha Dharma in Buddhism. And in letter to a friend text by Gyaltse Thongme Sangpo, it says that the attachment and desire is like a consuming salty water. The more you consume, the more attachment or desire increase. So therefore, the practice of restraining from the attractive object is here suggested. And there is also a very famous saying that one is not able to quench the thirst, even consuming the whole ocean. One is failed to satisfy the desire even by eating the whole giant mountain. This is the classical quotes we can find in the texts, which essentially means that the desire and the greed is too much that there's no limit of consumption, and then there's no way of satisfying our desires. And then there are in this world there are many people who are very rich, and they are known for their property and so forth. But when we talk about the state of their mind, if they are contented, we really cannot say that they are contented with what they have. Their desire is therefore longing more money and longing more property and also more fame than ever. So the attachment or the desire, the greed is there. It does not cease by having what they have. So therefore, the controlling the senses of our faculties towards the attractive object is need to be done. So if you have less attachments towards the external objects, then only then you can feel the pleasant and joy in your mind. So it means that if you fail to restrain, fail to control over your senses, which is connected to the different objects of attractive objects, I should say, and then there is no way of getting satisfied life or satisfied mind.
Dene tachidang ranzo mimang chera bjo dene da gyuchugbo de xie yong minam tamje chugbu pula gas odidabo ani gyu yunye da dindel ya yi moya dang dene manguji da dileng adi digas chungcho adi chungcho gas dinde manguji ai benjok thol ya mangche dinde yine ya ani gyu chugbu zo re re ge neba na lebe gala sagyu thonggyul kangye yo marde dungye michi dang mile dungye dam mangu mangare dinde ge da tamgyu mangu chore da nge goya ji nyama ngazo phamani 마종 콜라 데니 겐자르 니버 카시 요서레 딘데 종간 딜리리아 안네 코즈 로버체로 좀 와신 코즈 근데 Kagyu mes chimbi di pitu di kunazo nyama chonsha nyama personal jala zong chonsha Washington redo di za chin dudu dili la thoma sugali ya jamengi BMW tanson sumoda gyokbo chibi gezer pa gedu Mercedes dansi gega pa gesons suki chedi 나는 모터 페이지 개구직 독 되는 모터 다니에 숨시 되는 모터들 라제 대도 더반도 내 강반에 빼첨부도 되는 칼라 니군 칼라다 되네 아마데로 로구주스래도 겨르제 마용구도 나 아바디체 되네 그래서 디셰제다 딜라비인스 나키란조 베 아주 유링 마톡다 키란 베 마세베 다 도구 배 달게 배 마스 할레베 강과 첨부 때네 그래서 배다 저와 배 약게 시부지 도배 가보충스 송비인스 아니 예 바와 민 컨디스 조스 we are not happy also give mess 가르쳐서도 다 부구든서 강가로 규자라 털이야 쩌네 되네 감주기함네 딱 가서 배나 상에 나라 근데 나를 매지게고 딱 하고요 we are not happy 아주 give mess 딱 기분 요약이 치도 즉 처처 탑시지체 딱 그러 중사도 근데 난 매지게셔 되네 딱 경징다 감주다 가자 나라게 매지게는데 매지 쳐자 마시면 봐 다 미지가 사야 될라 사규 통규 만당받아 지 공부직 선은 강해 레데 이내 대라 딕삼직 소스 당한 탱에지 중나다 디라 하고 먹고 고야요 말아 잠불링 날 미 다둥 사야 먹고 부구 사야 먹고 사야 매 아프리나 도시 티요 단다 요 신두요 잠불링 왕가무 사야 때 시월데 나다 시부주요 잠불링날 미사야 망부 저거 맞아봐 돼요. 당아서 돼는데 기나서마다 콘서트 들나 구다그라 버렸다. 구다라래. 갈래니 갸고마레 구다 부기야를 버렸다. 야게 사네 세다. 로저라체 아니 모바일 아키 말에 차라 통 바로 간가로 했더니 갑다라래. 또 삼로다나 그래서 잠불링이 날라가라서 미통주 둔주스지요래 다 동부 숨을 담에 짠일 학서 미 망체디 소연내산 시키었으면 데를 하고 거야 요말 당하서 그러봐 데를 하고 거야 요말다 장난 잠불링이 나는 미차셔지더라 데 차를 무지를 뺄라고 말도 차 터보지는 잠불내나 규체셔지 삼르다지는 타 요말다 동야 거래 날마도 선델던 디지니가 놀더니 소소디 요말 디인디 에 상계 뒤에 뒤균도 되는 하나도 쉬나라 뒤중 촉시 왕부 담고 봐 최전부 채고 뭐볼라 되네 그냥 롱 맞춰서 그요 말이 나는 잠불링 디나라 벤저기 망시가라 마서바 쳐다요 말아 뭐 매번 쳐다요 말이 이는 양 데라 쳐지고 최전부 시면은 되네 칼라라 사주를 무시면은 망타나 나자 용거리 용타나 나자 용. 이 나시리 규자라나 망타나 나자 용거리 용타나 나자 요라. 또 다르게 뇽부 채우고. 류긴 중화시디 찬뇽베이나 나자 요 말에. 중화시디 참만뇽나 나자 요래. 이 나시리 사단, 두단, 조다, 체다 참말로 찬뇽부시 마쇼나 아니 동해기 아마도 요요 말.
There are many rich people in this world. When we talk about the rich people, there are rich people in terms of wealth. Financially, they are rich. They have no problem of the basic needs of food and shelter and so forth. when we talk about the status of their mind, the condition of their mind, then it is quite critical because of due to their richness of financial. They are not able to have a contented life because of too much of desire, too much of greed, and so forth. Only their purpose is to make more money and more property, and this is the only aim of them. So therefore, they have not contented life. This is what we need to be understood. So there is a story when my parents were alive. They had a few jewelries which they decided to sell, and they went to Delhi for this purpose. And when the trader who agreed to buy the jewelries from my parents, my parents were invited to their house in BMW car, and after doing the job, when they had to come back, they came back in an ordinary car. So this is how the big businessman treats you. When the things has not been done, they treat you in the best possible way. When things has done, and then the love and the affection towards the customer is not there. This is what that happens in trading, in businesses. The relationship of the customer and the seller, it happens like this way. When my parents reached at their house, they saw that the house is so luxury, and the life they were having was so luxury, and the living standard was so high, and then the house was so big, and everything looks so beautiful. And then my father asked that, "Oh, you have a beautiful house and must be having a wonderful life." When my father asked to the man there, and he said, "George, we are not happy." George was the nickname of my father. And when I tried to know the reason, and then they had a number of problems, having dispute between the children for the properties, because of disagreements among the children of them in regards of the property. There were a lot of problems in the family. So the man said that we are not happy at all. So this is what happens because of if you have the leg of understanding how to handle with your richness, and then the property become the reason to have a big problem. This is what happens. So we are so to have a appropriate amount of wealth is good. If we have too less, if we are blessed with too less richness, then this extreme, and we cannot survive. If we are blessed with too much of richness, if we have lots of money and property, then this also a cause a problem because of just giving you an example with the rich family in Delhi. So therefore the balance should be there. We should not have too little, or we should not have too much. So if the balance is there, then the life is satisfying. The contentment is there. when I think about them, that our life is very nice, very beautiful, and satisfying life we are leading here, because we don't have to worry about the basic needs of foods and shelters and all this. What we have to concern is the education that we have to be care of. So this is what I have to say. And then regarding the attitude of having much, when the greed is there, this is not good, because when we think about the number of people in this world, there are 7 billion of people, from whom so much of people are dying because of poverty, especially in Africa. When we think about Africa, the children in millions are dying because of having no food to eat, because of poverty. So these realities, these facts of the existence of people in this world has to be understood properly. Only then we can have a satisfying life, or satisfied life. So therefore, we should be careful with our attitudes towards everything that around us. So what I'm here trying to say is that you should have a less desire, and should have the understanding of contentment, the meaning of contentment. This is what we have to be understood. Okay, when we talk about money, without money we cannot survive, and that's the problem. And if we have too much of money, that's again is an obstacle of having a good life. So therefore, when we talk about the portion of, or the balance of the life, having too much is a cause of problem. Having too little is a cause of problem. So therefore, the balance should be there. It's same with the food. If we eat too much, it can be a cause. It causes a number of illnesses. And if we eat too little, we cannot. Our body stop functioning properly. So therefore, the balance should be there. Same with the property. Too much of money is bad. Too little money is bad. So what I'm trying to say is that balance should be there. We should try to keep everything in balance.
Yeah, here mainly we're talking about the material world. You need contentment, and every activity need balance. Taiwan Dancing Zunju Zombate, that Taiwan Dacia Maguyo did in it, Angaranzu Milu Pusum Soba, Niba Gawa, and Tambechu da Jia Gawa. That in Deji you do in Aranzu Sangi Sung Be Masibe Dungene Tawa, Tarbatop, Dewandoba, and Jegi Gasang, but you do tell her any Tabas of the Masse, Tea Gadi, and to Zunju Chamber, Hulen Shaguyati, Kachambuji, radio arrest, and you con do Yan Shiva the Wanganazu Mezzadini, the Nechi, that Drombo Dabo, Drongan Deva Dabo, Kuzli Yomari, the Indu, and Chidang Miludini, Samja Shandala Mada, Riksebe, the Neji Indu, and Tari, the Chagan Yabu, the Neji Gavla, Rangi, that Mezzi, 20 number Jigtone, Tazu, Hulang and then Betubayina, and Tari Sandela, Dunyangi, Duigi, and Gipajena, then Mizuba, Gabayina, Rangi Tarida was ne you do, and Lungi Kayang Gumatoba, and Deve Dijini Mesotending out to Drotubureso.
In this stanza, next two lines reads, the man who lives meditating on impurities, who is in control in his senses, moderate in eating and filled with faith and earnest effort. Associating with these two lines, the understanding what should we have is that the main purpose of our life or our practice of dharma is to attain nirvana. That will be the ultimate goal. And when we try to understand this stanza in terms of the conventional level or the temporary level, it is to have a good life, which is full of happiness and contentment. This is what we have to understand the meaning of these two lines of the verse. And as I said earlier, that our body is like a rented house, which is not a permanent residence. So therefore, the purpose of life or the meaning of our body need to be understood in terms of the practice of dharma. And human life is unlike the other species. Human life is something very precious when we think about the opportunities that we get, the basic facilities we have, the understanding that we have, the capability and the potential of the understanding and wisdom that we have. Also, therefore, one should be considered fortunate ones when we think about the other species which don't have the same qualities as us. By having this understanding, if we try to practice all the best at the best possible effort, and then we can have a very meaningful life in times to come. And if we have a meaningful life, then dharma practice is there for us, is always favoring for us to attain the ultimate goal. So therefore, the understanding of human life, which is not like others, and the qualities that we have as a human, which don't have the other species, is important here to be understood. So this is what the one stanza, the two lines is associating with this understanding.